Getting set for Game 3 between San Antonio and Memphis. Always happening out on Beale Street, just around the corner from the FedEx Forum. But until Game 1 of this series, nothing but the Blues for the Grizzlies in the postseason. They got their first ever playoff victory in Game 1. It was all Spurs. In Game 2 down the stretch, so we're even up at a game apiece. Terry Gannon along with Tim Legler. Lionel Hollins getting his team ready. Greg Popovich on the other side as we check out our starting lineups. And Tony Parker, they need more out of him in the fourth quarter. Ginobili back for the second straight game. Richard Jefferson has shot lights out from three-point range this year. Tim Duncan and Antonio McDyess. Big order for them defensively against the size of the Grizzlies. Mike Conley's had a terrific year at the point, playing Tony Parker in this series heads up. Tony Allen defensively, Sam Young, Zach Randolph, and Marc Gasol, the inside presence for the Grizzlies. A few moments ago, the two head coaches at midcourt, Sandalo, Greg Popovich, and Lionel Hollins. The third member of our crew is Rick Bucher. Rick, how you doing?
Thank you, Terry. I'm doing well. Maybe one of the most surprising elements in this series so far has been that Mike Conley of the Grizzlies has played Tony Parker even at the point guard position. But the Spurs are hoping for a breakout performance from Parker tonight. Something along the lines of the 37 points, 9 assists he had when these teams first met back in December. Spurs coach Greg Popovich wants him to push the tempo whenever he gets the opportunity. But when the Grizzlies defense is back and set, he wants him to become more of a distributor. Obviously, that's a very fine line. The Spurs are confident, Terry, that he can walk it tonight.
Well, Rick, they'd love for him to be able to get to the line a little bit, too. Did not shoot a free throw in Game 2 after going there 16 times in Game 1. Hey, Tim, how do you like the atmosphere, huh? They've been waiting since 2006 for this one here in Memphis.
I spent a little time walking around the city yesterday, and it's unbelievable the buzz that this game is creating right now. It's nice to see this organization feel like we're in a playoff series. Like, we have a chance right now to put ourselves in the driver's seat. If they could come out and play well at home, particularly tonight, trying to get that 2-1 edge.
They were swept all the previous trips to the playoffs, so now even up at one game apiece, they feel like they have a great chance. Lionel Hollins, who is in his third year, second full year as the head coach, has really turned this around here in Memphis and made them believe that they can compete with anyone. And Greg Popovich, what can you say about Pop? 15 years, 4 NBA titles, one of 5 NBA head coaches with 4 titles, number 3 all time in terms of playoff wins. And we are underway in Memphis. Greg Willard, Tom Washington, and John Goble, the officiating crew for Game 3. Duncan gives it off to Ginobili, who had those 17 points and did a little bit of everything in Game 2. Gasol giving Duncan some room on this opening possession, and Marc Gasol called on the reach. First foul of the game.
And a big part of what's going to happen in this series is going to be determined by how well Memphis can play defense, keep the San Antonio Spurs off the foul line. That's a big part of defending, is doing it without giving up the free points. San Antonio, 47 free throw attempts in Game 1, 32 in Game 2, 79 free throw attempts through 2 games, far too many.
They'd like a better result than they got from Duncan on the first free throw, though. Did not draw iron.
Definitely not the way you'd like to start out if you're Tim Duncan, not hitting anything on your first free throw attempt.
Back to your point, though. In Games 1 and 2 total, San Antonio plus 26 in terms of free throw attempts, getting the line much more than Memphis. Duncan 0 for 2, though. He misses the 2 free throws. And here is Conley, now in his 4th year, the 23-year-old who was a first-round pick out of Ohio State and has been given the reins by Lionel Hollins.
Well, he's done a great job of maturing as a player, running this team, getting the ball where it needs to be, and being more aggressive offensively right there. First play, nice basket cut. Mike Conley getting to the foul line.
And getting it back from Zach Randolph. Tony Parker picking up his first, and Conley to the free throw line. Now, Parker late in the first 2 games as well. Just 1 of 8 so far in the 4th quarter. And Mike Conley, a guy who was given the contract extension at the beginning of the year. Lionel Hollins said, it's your job, you're our guy, run the team. And throughout the year, you could just see his confidence grow.
Well, he was so young when he came into this league after just 1 year in college, and at that position, coming into the NBA, the toughest position to make that adjustment to at this level, it takes time. And I think you're starting to see that. He has ripened as a player, and now he has a lot more confidence in himself, and his teammates do as well.
Run down by Sam Young, the second-year player out of Pittsburgh, so another chance for the Grizzlies. Still cloudy in here from all the fireworks they set off during the starting lineup. Gasol working on Duncan. Here come the Spurs. They'd like to run, as Rick said tonight.
They have to run and get opportunities against this team. It's difficult because Memphis pounds you inside so much in the paint. It's hard to get out and run when you're starting your defense with 5 guys in the lane.
McDyess looking to set a screen for Parker. Conley fights around it. There's the double. Antonio McDyess, the veteran, now in his 15th year, second with the Spurs on the miss. Randolph. McDyess trying to stay with a one-on-one. Late help from Ginobili. Changed the shot. Manu. Fades. Here comes Randolph. Difficult shot at both ends, really.
We talked about before the game how physical the series has been, and you can see right now there's just no space to be had between these two teams. They're fighting for every square inch, and you're going to see some ugly basketball at times tonight because the defense is just so intense and in your face.
Nice back out to Parker. There's that matchup between Tony Parker, now in his 10th year, made the playoffs every year. Pull up at the free throw line and short. Been that type of series so far. Back and forth, physical play. Randolph loses it. It'll be San Antonio basketball. We talked to Richard Jefferson about the style of this series. It's a grinder the entire way.
Grunt, grind, and edge. I think that's this series. Grunt, grind, and edge is kind of, you know, Zach Randolph is a beast on the board. Marc Gasol is heavy. They got good defenders in Tony Allen and Sam Young and Shane Battier. So it's just a grinded out series. This is not going to be a 110 to 105 point, series. That's just not the way both teams are built. So for us, it's whoever gets the most loose balls, who can keep the other one off the offensive glass, and fights for every inch when it comes to positioning. That's what this series is about.
Tim Duncan's first bucket of the game for the Spurs, but it's a certain mindset every time the game starts if you know it's going to be a physical series. Allen with the miss.
Yeah, this is going to be a war. I mean, both of these teams love to bang. The Spurs have always been a physical defensive team. I think their identity has changed a little bit this season. They rely more on shot making than they ever have. But the bottom line is the nuts and bolts of the San Antonio Spurs in playoff basketball is going to be the same, and that's how Memphis is going to play you, chest to chest.
Conley rattles it home, his first bucket of the game. It's 3-2 Memphis. Parker to the left hand, and the foul. Zach Randolph picks up his first, and it was early foul trouble that took him off the floor in game 2.
Well, if you're guarding Tony Parker, you know you're going to get hit with a ton of screen and roll almost every time up the floor. That's how San Antonio attacks you. Ginobili, Parker trying to turn the corner, get into the lane. Requires everybody on the backside ready to step up. This is a good sign right here for Greg Popovich, getting Tony Parker to the foul line and maybe establish some rhythm right there. It's nice to see the basketball go in. He's only 10 for 30 from the field the first 2 games, and sometimes a free throw can get you on track.
Did not go to the free throw line in game 2 after making 16 trips in game 1. Makes them both, and the lead back to the Spurs. It's a fine line, though, when you play as physical as Memphis does, because what got him in trouble in game 2 was Randolph's fouls.
Absolutely true. You can live with the fouls in the paint protecting the rim. They had a number of fouls in San Antonio that were committed off the ball and out on the floor, and those add up over the course of the game. You end up putting a team like San Antonio in the bonus before you've even given yourself a chance to play defense.
Defensive 3-second violation called, and Randolph will go to the free throw line. And Richard Jefferson played in this case. And Zach, what a year he's had. Averaging 20 points, 12 rebounds a game. You go back a couple of years with the Clippers and even further, he was basically a forgotten man.
Yeah, he was, but this guy, throughout his career, has been one of the toughest matchups in this league physically because of how versatile he is offensively, how big he is, and the touch that he displays.
Conley tripped as he knifes down the lane, and he'll go to the free throw line.
One thing Zach Randolph has done throughout his career is stuff a stat sheet. Now he's become more of a leader and more mature as a player, and he understands now what it takes to win as well as just put up numbers. Since he's come to Memphis, you've seen a transformation in his game and a leadership that this team desperately needed, and you see he's leading the way. When he goes well, Memphis Grizzlies very difficult team to beat.
You always look for that wild card player who could be the difference, and sometimes you overlook the obvious. I mean, as Zach Randolph goes, Memphis is going to go, much like San Antonio and Manu Ginobili. Tony Parker, though, just picked up his second, so he goes to the bench early, just as we talk about how important it is for him to have a solid game here in Game 3.
Now, a year ago, 2 years ago, Mike Conley would have never come out this aggressively in a playoff game against a player of Tony Parker's caliber. He just wouldn't. He believes in himself now, and his aggressiveness in attacking now has put Tony Parker on the bench, and now Memphis can play against George Hill, which is going to be an advantage now for Mike Conley.
George Hill, the third-year player, has been solid, though. He had 15 in Game 1, 16 in Game 2, out of bounds, back to the Grizzlies. Hill, who grew up in Indianapolis, just a few miles, by the way, from Mike Conley. They've been playing against each other since high school through AAU ball.
George Hill's been terrific, and by the comment I made, I'm not trying to denigrate him as a player, but it's not the same as trying to defend Tony Parker, who's coming at you every possession, trying to turn a corner and get into the lane. Just a little bit less pressure on you defensively if you're Mike Conley now.
Duncan left all alone, and Tim's had his lowest averages through the regular season for points, rebounds, and minutes played throughout his career. Part of that due to the fact that Pop has rested him. Gasol to the left hand, no. Jefferson the pull-up. That's what he's done this year, and he's even extended it beyond the arc.
His stroke just looks so much more pure this season. He's worked on it tremendously in the offseason, and now he's a guy that goes up and shoots the basketball. He expects it to go in from that range. And they went 5 minutes without getting him a real touch in the offense. And I think he's so important to this team to get him a rhythm, because you just don't know if it's going to be there every night from your bigs.
They show double, they don't. Randolph operates inside. Pump fake, using his body up and good. That's what Zach Randolph gives you.
That's his favorite spot on the floor. He loves to come middle normally with that left hand, and he did it there, but went to the up and under and finished with the right.
Tipped up, no. McDyess almost had the spectacular slam on the follow. Here comes Conley. Allen on the run. Leaves it for Randolph. Good.
Great start for Memphis. The energy defensively, and now converting in transition. Tony Allen setting up Zach Randolph. Their stud is leading the way right now.
Zach Randolph with 5 quick points. Allen running the floor, doing it on the defensive end, and they got the white towels out here at the FedEx Forum.
Well, you've seen a little bit of everything that Zach Randolph has to offer. He's a load in the low post, the reposition, up and under, gets McDyess in the air, and then Memphis gets an opportunity to get out and run. Tony Allen, the great draw and kick. Zach Randolph finding the right spot around the rim. Memphis rocking early.
Kobe averaging 25. All 4 games won by the home team in terms of, well, what a comeback by Portland. And still to come tonight, Kevin Durant, the Thunder, taking on Denver.
And Portland just salvaged their series potentially with that comeback in the fourth quarter today. Now it's a best of 3. Still have to win 1 more in Dallas, but what a great series.
Bulls almost came back from way down earlier today, but now lead that series with the Pacers 3-1. Ginobili gets loose inside the paint. And you go back to Game 2. It wasn't just the scoring. I mean, he got his hand on loose balls. He did all the little things.
If you go back and take a look at any San Antonio Spurs run, typically Manu Ginobili's all over it. He's got his fingerprints everywhere. And I had a feeling coming out of that timeout, Ginobili was going to touch the basketball. He's the guy that's making things go for San Antonio. They've got to get the ball in his hands as much as possible here in the first quarter.
Hill trying to set up Jefferson, and it's tipped out with 17 on the shot clock.
Such a difficult guy to defend because he never stops moving his activity, and then to step through in the finish with the left hand. Manu Ginobili is a guy that you just have to respect and admire for how hard he plays the game.
Taking a rest right now on the bench. Gary Neal, the rookie from Towson, onto the floor for Ginobili. Greg Popovich said, look, Manu is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant in terms of will to win, his passion for the game. He doesn't quite have their skills, but in terms of his desire, he's right there.
All he does is win. Internationally, in the NBA, titles, the Olympics, World Championships, you name it. Can't imagine what his trophy case looks like at home with all he's done throughout his career.
No down on the playground, at the Y, wherever he goes. McDyess with the jumper at the other end. Allen doubled, kicks it out. Young thought about it, knifes through, and a blocking foul called on the Spurs. They're just getting started. Monday, it would be game 4. It is game 4, 8 o'clock, NBA TV. Then Wednesday at San Antonio. Friday, if necessary, back here at the FedEx Forum. Then game 7 would be at San Antonio. So basically, right now, it's a best-of-5 series, and the home court advantage goes to the Grizzlies.
And everything you see Memphis do is about trying to attack you in the paint. This is a team that's not a very good three-point shooting team. And even there, Tony Allen is not really a perimeter threat, but immediately they go to Tony Allen in the post with a favorable matchup against Gary Neal, draws the double team, and that leads to a penetration opportunity for Sam Young. So everything Memphis does is geared to getting the basketball on the block and in the paint and attacking you at the rim.
And you saw it with Sam Young as he hesitated to take an open 15-footer. And Allen goes to the bench. O.J. Mayo comes on, who's led them in three-pointers the last 3 years. DeWano Holland's trying to get some outside punch. Got a mic on Greg Popovich. Here's what he said in the last time out.
Did you calm each other down a little bit? All right? Just relax. It's just basketball. We've been here before. It's a basketball game. Relax.
Did they look nervous to you in the opening moments?
I thought they did. I thought they looked tight. And look, even a team with championship pedigree in this type of environment with a 1-1 series is going to be that way at the start of the game. But Greg Popovich has seen his team enough to know when they look a little bit rattled. So those comments, very interesting. And you saw out of that timeout, who'd he go to? Manu Ginobili to get them a bucket to calm everything down.
Matt Bonner just came on the floor. Best three-point shooter percentage-wise in the league. There's the kick out to Neal. That's a 3. Short, gets it back, runs right into Shane Battier, who just came on from the Grizzlies, and Battier is going to pick up his first.
We saw the open look for Gary Neal in the corner. Critical for this team that they get role player contribution from the three-point line. The way that they spread the floor and all that penetration that they get. You see the collision right there. Gary Neal moving. Looked like Shane Battier was there in position to take that charge.
Spurs will go to the line the rest of the way. 14th foul on the Grizzlies. San Antonio with 3 team fouls right now. Duncan one-on-one with the Soul. Jefferson. Hill the follow.
Well, you see right there, Memphis is going to play Tim Duncan for the most part straight up in the post. When that happens, you really shouldn't give up slashers and cuts like that because you're staying home with the perimeter players. That was a breakdown by Memphis defensively. They want Tim Duncan to make shots over a one-on-one post defender.
High-low the Grizzlies go and Gasol the bucket and the foul. The help came late, and Marc Gasol will go to the free throw line.
Perfect position right here, the high-low. You see Matt Bonner trying to front, but it's a perfect delivery on the high-low. Good seal by Gasol. He's got great hands, and he's massive. When he gets around the basket, he can really finish down there. He's got a soft touch.
7'1", 265 pounds, and now in his 3rd year from Barcelona, Spain, and pushed him over in that trade that involved his brother, Pau, who had a much better game last night in Game 3 against New Orleans.
Yeah, he responded very well in that series, and got to be proud of his brother, the way he's represented himself so far in this one.
Loose ball foul, Matt Bonner his first. And the 5th team foul on San Antonio. You know, remember, Powell played right here in Memphis, Rookie of the Year back in 01-02, looking like he's about 12 years old there.
Well, he's won a couple of rings with the Lakers, and sometimes you forget that he was here. He led this team to the playoffs 3 consecutive years. Unfortunately, they got swept all 3 years, went to LA, teamed up with Kobe Bryant, and now has become a star in this league. But take a look at Mark. The playoffs so far really going well.
Yeah, you don't think you trade those numbers for a couple of rings, though, do you?
I have a feeling he would. I think Marc Gasol would take getting shut out in the playoffs if he could get one of those rings.
They got another brother who's coming up in high school right here in Memphis. Mayo helps. They get it back out to Neal. Elevates on the jumper. That's a deuce. 15-footer up and good for Gary Neal, who averaged almost 10 points per game through the regular season.
Been a great find for this team. They didn't expect Gary Neal before the season to be a guy that was really going to be able to count on for contributions, but he's been steady as a rock all season, gives them a nice spark of scoring off the bench.
Gasol turns at the baseline. Pretty move as he fades away from Bonner.
You see that soft touch I talked about right there, and Matt Bonner's just not big enough to play Pau Gasol on a turnaround jump shot. He can get that anytime he wants it. That time he really positioned himself well, knocked down a big shot.
Neal, undrafted, went over and played in Europe. Free agent signee, Duncan, the jumper, top of the key. And Tim's got 4 in the game. Now, you mentioned they may need a little throwback performance from Tim Duncan to win this game. Does he still have it in him?
I think he does, but I think Tim Duncan is at the point where he'd much rather just share the load if they can get by that way. But as well as Memphis's front line has played, I just think it might take one of those, 25 and 15 type of games to help get them through this.
4-point lead for the Grizzlies off the Mayo layup. Speaking of layups, knifing through is Neal. He's got 4. Tony Parker picked up 2 quick fouls here in the first, went to the bench. Battier. Good, bad, back in. Shane Battier, the veteran who's back in Memphis. Hill, the miss off the heel. Here comes O.J. Mayo.
2 minutes.
Conley to Battier, who had the game winner in game 1 from beyond the arc. Another 3 here.
What an addition Shane Battier has been to this team, his leadership. He's one of the most beloved players this organization has ever had. He's back, and he's a guy that you can count on in the playoffs.
And he's got a new baby girl, which he had last Sunday, his wife did, after that game winner.
Life is good right now for Shane Battier. You see O.J. Mayo inside, the nice reverse layup. And then Mike Conley, the penetration, draws 3 defenders, and you know you can count on Shane Battier to knock down those corner threes.
Conley and the Grizzlies got the Spurs on their heels here on the banks of the Mississippi for game 3. The 2 games apiece. Lakers, of course, taking a 2-1 lead last night over New Orleans, and game 4 tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern NBA TV. Still to come tonight, of course, Tim, Oklahoma City and Denver.
Yeah, Oklahoma City throttled Denver in game 2. It's be interesting to see how Denver responds going home and trying to get back in that series. Everybody that drops the first 2 on the road basically has one chance to make it a series, and that's game 3, and that's what Denver's facing tonight.
Here, the Grizzlies have hit 7 of their last 8, have their largest lead. Juan Blair, bucket underneath, the second-year player out of Pittsburgh.
Well, San Antonio now has the lineup on the floor that can spread the floor the best. You've got Bonner out there at the 4. You've got Gary Neal. You've got George Hill, Ginobili.
Here's the problem. You got to guard Gasol inside.
That's what you give up at the other end. And Greg Popovich told us before the game, at times it's almost comical how small the Spurs can look when they go to this lineup. But there are times when this is their best offensive lineup because of how well they spread the floor and make you defend the 3-point line.
Ginobili guarded well by Battier. Darrell Arthur, third-year player from Kansas, much improved this year on the floor for the Grizzlies. Battier had it stripped underneath. Conley swings it. Arthur loses it. Out of bounds to the Spurs. So a 7-point lead for Lionel Hollins' Grizzlies ball club. iHoops, the official youth basketball initiative of the NBA and NCAA, created to enhance the youth basketball experience. To take part in the ultimate online youth basketball community, connect at ihoops.com right now. Game 3 here in Memphis. Series tied up at a game apiece. Ginobili strong.
Tough shot that time for Ginobili. I thought he was going to kick it back to Bonner, who was wide open at the top of the key for that pick and pop scenario. That's really what he brings to the table. Instead, Manu took a tough off-balance shot there.
Ravis Vasquez, rookie from Maryland, on the floor for the Grizzlies now. It's had a tough series so far. Left-handed jump hook from Battier.
Hey, Battier aggressively going after Manu Ginobili in the post. That's 2 consecutive possessions. The last time, didn't get anything out of it, but right there, deep position, the left-handed jump hook.
Battier's got 7 already. Perfect 3 for 3 from the floor. Final possession of the first quarter. Neal not going to get the shot off. Great defense by Mayo and the Grizzlies.
Well, you couldn't have scripted a better opening quarter for Lionel Hollins and the Memphis Grizzlies. Biggest game in franchise history. Now you see 9/10. They're putting back on the clock to give Memphis one last opportunity here to get something up.
So you do have a chance to inbound it and get a shot off. Battier, the runner. The week he's had, you felt like that might go. Lionel Hollins and Memphis got their first playoff win earlier in the series. Tonight, they're looking for their first playoff win here at home. Best of 7 series, and the Grizzlies with a 9-point lead.
Men are scoring inside. What can you do differently to slow them down?
Well, it's not really they, it's Gasol. He's hurting us badly. He's doing a good job, and we're not doing a very good job of team defense.
What can you change? What has to change to be able to slow him down?
Better team defense.
You lost Tony Parker early to foul trouble. How did George Hill do in his stead?
You know, he ran the club, but we've got to make some shots along with it. We've got open people, and we're holding on to the ball like we're a one-on-one team. It's very disappointing.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Rick and Tony Parker back on the floor to start the second quarter. Played less than 4 minutes in that first quarter. Gasol, by the way, 7 points and 4 rebounds already as Arthur gets the roll from the top of the key.
And more frontline help from Memphis. Darrell Arthur comes off the bench and he gets something to go. So right now the front line of Memphis is really dictating what's going on with this game. Gasol, Randolph, Arthur, Shane Battier, even at the small forward, has played big in the post.
Neal, long range. Battier had it. Vasquez now controls. Deep corner 3 for Mayo, and they'd love to see some of that to open up that paint.
Well, that's a welcome sight to Lionel Hollins and to these fans here in Memphis to see O.J. Mayo get going as well. Right now, there's 4 reserves in the game for Memphis. Important right now, San Antonio maintains their composure, takes this one possession at a time to get back in this game.
Bonner the follow after the Blair miss, so Matt Bonner gets the easy bucket inside. O.J. Mayo just knocked down that 3. He's had a difficult year. The altercation with Tony Allen earlier this season was traded to Indiana, and it was right after the deadline, like 3 minutes late, so we knew they wanted to get rid of him. They weren't able to, and he had to perform the second half of the season as Manu pleads his case.
You see Manu Ginobili right here. This is hand-to-hand combat in the low post down here between Manu Ginobili and Shane Battier. Battier really, rarely do you see him that aggressively try to post people up. And he's made his mark in this league primarily as a perimeter player, a three-point shooter. But right now, he likes this matchup against Manu down in the block.
Blair trying to stay with Randolph. Mayo up high, but Neal controls the rebound. And Battier said yesterday, look, we're not going to apologize for being physical. We're going to get our money's worth on any foul that we make in this series.
That's how you have to play a team like San Antonio. I mean, they've been so physical over the years themselves defensively. You just can't back down. It's got to be toe-to-toe.
Parker gets his own rebound, lost it. Grizzlies come up with it. They changed that 3 by Mayo, by the way, to a 2. Going back for more, though. Short this time. Here comes Parker. Vasquez trying to stop him. Swatted away by Arthur. Blair the follow, no. Bonner flies in. David Vasquez on the break. To Randolph.
Well, right now, these two teams are playing with completely different energy levels. Everything that Memphis is doing is about attacking and being aggressive. And right now, San Antonio just completely thrown out of rhythm offensively.
Nice dish, and Blair with the easy lay-in from Parker.
I'd like to see more of that out of Tony Parker. He's certainly capable of making people better with his penetration. So often we're used to seeing him score at the rim. Nice to see him there find somebody when he draws that extra defender.
Randolph hit and the bucket. Count it. He'll go to the line with a chance for three. And everything going right for Memphis right now.
It's just a great job by Darrell Arthur tracking that down, gets the block, and then you see him compete, scrap, come up with the loose ball, push it the other way, and Zach Randolph running the floor. You have to be able to convert turnovers against San Antonio into points so you don't have to play against them as much in the half court. Nothing better than getting your top guy an easy bucket like that in transition. It just opens things up.
And Tim, remember the last time out with Rick talking to Greg Popovich, said it's not their inside, it's just one guy, Gasol. Guess what? That just changed.
That's absolutely right. And you know Zach Randolph's going to keep coming at you. I said what a tough matchup he is. He's a load for anybody in this league to try to guard down there.
Randolph just signed a new 40-year deal with $66 million. Ginobili doing what he does best.
The degree of difficulty in what Manu Ginobili just did is about a 12 on a scale of 1 to 10, and he made it look completely effortless.
Randolph, everything he does looks tough because it's physical, it's pounding, but he gets it done. Gets another chance here. No call on the contact and the easy bucket.
Yeah, Zach Randolph right now just going at Juwan Blair. Lowers his shoulder. Blair in pretty good position, but Zach Randolph, such a great scorer in this league, gets the benefit of the doubt on those calls.
Randolph already with 12, gets the technical though at the end of the play. So Ginobili goes to the other end, and he'll shoot the technical when play continues, and we come back to Memphis.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Kingsford Charcoal, Slow Down and Grill.
Keep the pace up and keep getting stops. But if the ball goes in, get it up and just push it up. Everybody run. We don't have to take quick shots, but we need to get the ball up court quickly.
Well, this is what he's talking about. Just push it up the court and attack in early transition. Memphis has young legs, and you've got to get out and take advantage of that. They've got a lot of different guys that can attack you athletically. And right now, what they do well, they're successful at in this game. And any team in this league, when your strength is what you're getting done on a given night, you're going to win.
And Randolph and Gasol already with 19 points tonight. They only had 23 in that Game 2 loss. And remember the technical on Randolph as we went to break. Ginobili with the miss. Mono had a tough time shooting free throws in Game 2, coming back off the elbow injury. And they've gone back, by the way, and changed it again. They've credited O.J. Mayo with the 3 on that deep corner shot. So it's 41-26. Bonner lets it fly. And a defensive 3 seconds violation. As Randolph was in there, didn't foul anybody. So Ginobili back to the free throw line. Wearing that heavy brace, which he says he absolutely hates. Doesn't even like to wear a wristband or anything.
I mean, I don't think Manu Ginobili would even wear socks unless he had to. I mean, he's just the kind of guy that's old school. He just wants to go out there. He'd play in sandals. I mean, he just wants to play basketball. Doesn't like the apparatus on his elbow. It didn't seem to affect him much in Game 2. He was on the floor about 9 times with a hyperextended right elbow.
Well, at the very least, give you the Mike Tyson look without the socks and the black high tops. Tony Parker able to get to the hoop this time. Good sign for the Spurs.
Well, some sense of normalcy on that possession with the San Antonio Spurs offense. That's what they need Tony Parker to do. Get into the paint, wreak havoc. Manu Ginobili as well right now, just 3 for 9 between the two of those guys.
Mayo with the miss. Bench has been good for Grizzlies. 16 points off the bench. Parker again, this time misses. Tipped out of bounds. And it'll be Memphis basketball.
Checking back in for the Grizzlies, Mike Conley.
You knew early on in Game 2, the first 3 or 4 possessions, he was on the deck half the time.
It's an amazing contrast. If you take a look at what this team is like when Manu Ginobili's not on the court. I mean, it's amazing. A 91-point swing
in terms of point differential when Manu Ginobili plays for this team against the Memphis Grizzlies. He's just so important to everything that they do. It is decision-making and defensively. Getting hands on balls, triggering breaks, creating turnovers. So far, Manu Ginobili has not put his stamp in this game, and that's why Memphis has everything under control.
He does, however, come up with the rebound and lead the break for the Spurs. Started by O.J. Mayo. Back to McDyess. Pick and pop, steps back over Gasol. That's a deuce. He's got 4 in the game.
Nice job right there by Manu, being patient off the pick and roll. You've got guys in this team at San Antonio, and Antonio McDyess, Matt Bonner, even Tim Duncan. Very good face-up 15-foot jump shooters, and Ginobili and Parker get so much attention on pick and roll. That pick and pop shot will be there whenever they want it.
Gasol back in the game, had 7 early on, led the charge. Here comes Jefferson on the run, hit hard by O.J. Mayo. Quickly goes over to have a word.
San Antonio turning the tables right now. They're taking everything out of the backcourt with a sense of urgency, and they're attacking Memphis in transition. Nice job throwing ahead by Ginobili. Allow your wing, your athlete, to try to get to the rim and make a play. Richard Jefferson draws the foul.
And we'll have a timeout with 6:52 left here in the second. So San Antonio, 5 quick points since that last break, and it's a 10-point Memphis lead. Best of 7, and Memphis with a 10-point lead. Lionel Hollins part of the effort to build this franchise. Mike Conley, 4th overall pick. Remember, he was just behind Greg Oden, his teammate at Ohio State. Free agent Tony Allen, big acquisition coming over this season. And then all the trades they made, including Rudy Gay, who's been out with a shoulder injury since February 15th.
Well, they've done a nice job at bringing in players that complement each other. And this team just needed to grow up a little bit together, and you've seen that maturation process take place. And you go and you add a guy like a Shane Battier. You bring Tony Allen this year to the mix. 2 veteran guys that are smart, tough, get after it, and know how to play winning basketball. And that's why this team feels like now they're ready to take that next step forward.
It's a big part of it because they had 8 guys with no playoff experience. So you bring Battier in. Tony Allen's won a title, obviously, with Boston. Leon Poe also part of that effort in Boston a couple of seasons ago. As Jefferson knocks down the free throws. Spurs haven't been able to get anything going beyond the arc. This is the top 3-point shooting team in the NBA. They've yet to hit one.
With what Memphis hit the Spurs with early in this game, you got the feeling right now that it's a 15-point game, but if you look up and it's 8. And San Antonio is slowly starting to turn this game around, and they're doing it defensively. Controlling the backboards, limiting Memphis to 1 shot, getting transition opportunities. There you see scrapping in the paint, trying to get hands on balls and trying to be disruptive defensively.
It's a 7-0 run by San Antonio. Memphis getting the better end of things out the open floor. It'll be Jefferson and Gasol to jump it up. Tim Duncan continues to rest on the bench for Greg Popovich.
Right now he seems comfortable going with a smaller lineup out there. This is the lineup that can attack you off the dribble with Parker and Hill. You've got Jefferson out there to spot up, and then McDyess and Dwan Blair trying to control Gasol and Zach Randolph.
Gasol controls it. Here's Randolph guarded by McDyess. No help. No. Now here comes the double. A great wraparound behind the back to Allen to beat the shot clock. Wow.
Zach Randolph has always been a guy that can light you up in the low post, but his passing's always been underrated. Great job right there with the behind the back around the double team for an easy bucket, and now Memphis back in transition.
Allen lost it. Jefferson to the deck. Tied up again. It'll be another jump ball. Richard Jefferson spending a lot of time down on the floor.
You know, Zach Randolph loves this spot on the court. You see the double team come. Perfect vision for wrapping around the back. Tony Allen, this is what he does. He's a weak side to strong side slasher. Greg Popovich can't even believe what he's watching, wondering where is the defensive rotations. That time San Antonio, I think, got caught watching Zach Randolph because it was so deep into the shot clock. They expected him to turn, maybe shoot a turnaround jumper. Instead, great presence of mind to know he had time to get that pass off.
And once he finds someone like that and makes a pass like that, it puts you on your heels defensively.
It really does. It really does. That's why Zach Randolph is so tough, because you have to bring help. You're not going to be able to play him on the right block one-on-one with Antonio McDyess. He's just too big. He's too good at getting to the middle to get over that right shoulder for a left-hand finish. So you have to bring the help. It requires perfect rotation on the weak side to take cuts away like Tony Allen just gave you.
McDyess control. Duncan back on the floor for San Antonio. Parker and Hill at the guards. Ginobili getting a rest. Hill quickly to the hoop. George Hill, the third-year player's got 4 in the game. That was nice.
Well, they've done a nice job, actually, between Parker and Hill. They've gotten to the rim a number of times, and Memphis has to do a better job of sealing off those driving lanes, force them to be jump shooters.
14 now in the game for Zach Randolph. I'm not sure how you stop that.
Steady dose of Zach Randolph, I think, this last 5.5 minutes of the second quarter for Memphis.
Quick shot. Not sure if Greg Popovich wanted that one. Randolph back at it. And Conley, the floor general, operates on Parker, hesitates, beats him to the hoop.
Mike Conley with a great freeze off the pick and roll, throws the big guy, then changed gears, turned the corner, and got to the rim.
Conley with 7 in the game, and clearly in this one so far, winning that battle with Tony Parker, the 3-time All-Star. Memphis winning the battle as well, up by 12. For the next game here in Memphis, it's the Grizzlies 47-35. Mike Conley, the point guard, 7 points, 4 assists, and his pops, Mike Conley Sr., no doubt very proud of the effort.
Somebody you're familiar with. You battled with him in high school a little bit, didn't you?
Not doing this, though. He went on to be an Olympic gold medalist in the triple jump. He used to win the slam dunk contest all the time in all the all-star camps. The guys who lost wouldn't have felt so bad if they knew he was going on to win the gold medal someday.
Pretty good genetics. I think he's passed on to his son, who's done a nice job tonight running the show for Memphis.
It's the one thing Mike, who we're watching now, can't do as well as his pops, and that's lead. No shot. Parker swatted away by Gasol. Tony Parker had a tough time in the first couple of games, and it continues here in game 3.
We're so used to seeing Tony Parker just have his way with opposing defenses, just get where he wants with that acceleration and the floaters and just gutting your defense. And he has just had a hard time in this series getting any space to get to the basket to make anything happen.
1 of 7 so far. Good lead, though, for Duncan this time as they beat the 24-second clock. 6 in the game for Tim.
That was actually a perfect delivery. He kept that ball up high above Duncan's shoulders when he caught it, because he had about a half a second to get that thing to the rim. If that was down below his waist, I'm not sure he could have got that shot off.
Jefferson bodies up along the baseline with Battier, who goes to the deck. They're going to call it on Shane. That's an offensive foul. That's his second. Nope, they're going to call it on Mayo, excuse me. That's his second. So a 10-point lead for the Grizzlies. Kind of a dangerous time in this second quarter for Memphis right now.
They have played so well. They need to close out this last 4 minutes. Not let San Antonio get a big surge before halftime and steal momentum of this game.
Parker's struggles continue from the floor. Gasol and Randolph, that inside duo on the floor for the Grizzlies now. Hill high into the air to take it away, loses it with 7 on the shot clock. They'll keep it at this end. Reminder, ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues Sunday and Monday night. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball at 8 o'clock. The Reds taking on Albert Pujols and the Cardinals. And then Monday Night Baseball at 7 with the White Sox taking on the Yankees. This game also can be seen on ESPN in Chicago and New York markets. Major League Baseball season in full swing. 3 on the shot clock for Conley. Ginobili just came on, comes up with a loose ball. So Parker gets a rest. George Hill on there with the other starters right now. Taken away. Conley on the run to the right hand.
Tremendous activity level by Memphis defensively, getting deflections, hands-on balls, and then converting those into transition. Nice lead pass, and Mike Conley took it hard to the rack right there. Memphis dominating San Antonio in transition points right now.
Help comes. Duncan splits it. Back out to Conley. On the run again. They pull it back out. Grizzlies led the league in forcing turnovers and points off turnovers during the regular season.
Nice job staying down by Antonio McDyess that time. If Zach Randolph comes middle from the left side of the floor, he's almost always going to spin back to that left hand, and McDyess didn't allow it.
Ginobili had a word with one of the officials after that. Thought he was hit. And Conley content to walk it up. Gasol. And one. Screen and roll, as simple as that.
Basic pick and roll. Marc Gasol straight down the lane to the front of the rim, and perfect delivery by Mike Conley right here. You see the screen on George Hill, and as he turns the corner, Duncan has to hedge. It allows Gasol just enough room to find that pocket in front of the rim. And a good point guard delivers the ball to your big guy, so he has to do as little work as possible and doesn't have to put it down or get too much traffic, and that's what Conley did for Marc Gasol right there.
Duncan the foul. That's the first on Tim. It's a 14-point lead. Make it 15. Gasol the free throw. Hard to believe we're watching a #1 seed take on a #8 seed.
And not only take them on, right now they've got the Spurs on their heels on both ends of the floor.
Ginobili from Duncan. He'll go to the free throw line. Great read by Ginobili, and Duncan found him, and Manu's got 7.
Well, San Antonio gets back to their basics right here. Hit Tim Duncan at the high post. Nice cut by Ginobili. Gets it back to him. Three-point play. Something right now San Antonio desperately needed this basket. If he can convert this three-point play, you got a 12-point game. 2 minutes to go. San Antonio needs to try to string together a couple stops. Get this to single digits by halftime if they can.
And if you're a coach, you're basically saying that, right? Mentally, psychologically, hey, we go in single digits down. We're right there.
Got to dig deep right here. No mental mistakes defensively. Get your rotations down. Fly to the basketball and try to force contested jump shots.
Under 2 minutes till the break. Young back on the floor, throws it away. Loose ball foul called. See if they got Gasol. They did. That's his second.
Talking about before the game, the paint. That's where this series is going to be won. And right now, Memphis getting the best of it. Zach Randolph got unleashed in the early part of the second quarter. Marc Gasol has been so solid in all 3 games. Some of the 2 guys that really know how to finish once they get the basketball down low. And they have just attacked the Spurs front line in all 3 games.
Memphis shooting 54% so far, and that's a big reason, those 2.
10 for 17 between the 2 big guys, 24 points. You can't ask much more than that if you're Lionel Hollins. You have to be happy with the big guys coming to play in a pivotal game right now.
Darrell Arthur back on the floor for Gasol, and George Hill gets it to drop. He's got 6 in the game, and the lead is down to 10. Going to pressure Conley, which they've done a lot of in the first couple of games, even on the full court. Randolph right by Duncan, taken away. A whistle. You call it a jump ball?
I believe he called it a jump ball, which is kind of a quick call.
Zach Randolph got his shot blocked basically by Tim Duncan. The ball came out of there pretty quick.
They're going to say it's a jump ball right now. Take a look here. Zach Randolph trying to turn the corner. Nice job by Duncan getting there. Gets a piece of the ball, comes down. I don't know how that's a jump ball. I didn't really even see
Neither really
the
had
2 of them
no.
maintaining contact at the same time.
Duncan wins it, gets it to Jefferson. That's a big play here.
San Antonio will take that because that loose ball spurted out to Memphis, and now instead San Antonio gets an extra possession out of this and a chance to cut it to 8.
Hill, 3 of 5 in the first half with 6 points. Dragging the pivot foot, turning it over back to the Grizzlies.
Dragged his foot, wanted to reverse that basketball to Tim Duncan, who was wide open at the top of the key. George Hill drags it. Tough turnover right there for San Antonio.
4th turnover by San Antonio.
And this is where Memphis has to show you that they have grown up. Handling
end-of-half situations. 10-point game, minute to go. They need a solid execution right here in a half-court set. Make sure they don't do that, which is turn the basketball over.
Hill, body control, misses. Here comes Conley going the other way. Young thought about it. Darrell Arthur swatted by Jefferson and Duncan. I think they both got a piece of that one. So you got 35.4 left until the break, and then it's the Toyota halftime report. Taking a look at the Blazers' historic comeback. They were down big in that game. They come back, they even up the series. Bulls tried to do the same and fell just short. And Memphis will take a timeout with 35.4 left until halftime at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow.
We'll see what Lionel Hollins comes up with. Good timeout, 9 on the clock. You really want to make sure you get a quality shot here on what could be your last possession of the half.
Not sure that's the quality shot Lionel Hollins wanted.
Plenty of time on the clock. I think Mike Conley forced that a little bit. Now San Antonio has a chance to close out the half with a bucket.
Through the hands of Randolph, and he gets it back. And I'm not even sure who George Hill was looking for there. So the shot clock is off. They're on their feet here in the FedEx Forum. Conley's got to go now. Over Duncan, short, and that'll do it here in the first. So they've waited for 5 years for a playoff game here in Memphis, and they're liking everything they've seen in the first half so far.
Can't ask for anything more. This team came out with tremendous energy early. They got their two big guys going. You see Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol combining for 24. Tony Parker really non-existent offensively in this game.
Let's join Rick Bucher.
All right, thank you. I'm here with Zach Randolph. You and Marc Gasol have already combined for more points in the first half of this game than you did the entire game in Game 2. What's been the difference?
I mean, that's our game plan. That's what we've been playing all season long, inside out. And that's what we're trying to do. Play inside out, loosen it up, and have the guys hit shots on the outside for us.
All right, that last couple minutes there at the end of the half, you guys had a big lead, but you really struggled down there down the stretch. What changed?
I mean, we got to get into our stuff. We got to execute better, run our plays better, and you know it's not going to be easy. It's a tough game playing against a tough team, so we got to continue fighting, continue doing what we got to do.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you in the second half. Terry?
Rick, no secret, they try to do it with toughness and working you in the paint. So at a halftime show coming up just moments away from that. Randolph with 14 points in the first half to go along with 3 rebounds. And inside his mate, Gasol, 10 points and 6 rebounds. But all Grizzlies so far in this one. Game 3 series even up at a game apiece. Randolph doing his work. Tony Allen doing it as well. They'll try to celebrate here. Toyota halftime show coming up with Hannah Storm. They're looking to celebrate a Grizzlies win on Beale Street tonight. Memphis up double digits over San Antonio, the top seed out west, 52-42, your halftime score. As we check out our Michelin first half stats right now, and it's all Grizzlies right now. Remember Game 2 in that loss, they shot less than 40% after shooting 55% in Game 1. Right now, almost 50%. More assists, more fast break points, more points in the paint, and the front court outscoring the San Antonio Spurs 33-20 right now, hence the 10-point lead. Terry Gannon back with Tim Legler. So the Grizzlies set the early pace with their physical play, and San Antonio really never had an answer in the first 2 quarters.
Well, despite all of San Antonio's depth and the contributions from the role players they've gotten all year, this team's only going as far as their big 3 are going to take them, and they just haven't gotten involved in this game. 7 for 21 from the field. You see Tony Parker struggling at 1 for 8. Tim Duncan has had maybe 2 touches at all in the low post in the first half. Ginobili hasn't put his stamp on it yet.
they're going to have to pick it up dramatically for San Antonio to turn this around.
Mention the inside presence for Memphis. Take a look at our Dodge driving success right now.
Yeah, Marc Gasol has been big. He's established deep position. They've done a nice job of getting the basketball. And when he's gotten it, he's made the most of every opportunity in finishing, keeping the ball high, strong around the basket. He's gotten to the foul line. And Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph have controlled this game with how well their front line has played. 24 points between them.
And 18 points in the paint for Randolph and Gasol so far. Zach Randolph in game 2 had the 2 quick fouls that took him out of that game. And Randolph only ended up with 11 points and 5 rebounds. Much different story tonight in Memphis. Game 3, best of 7 out west and tied up at a game apiece. Sam Young drives the lane on the opening possession, and Duncan starts to break to Parker. And Parker fouled, pressing the issue. Good sign as Tony Parker took it up the court quickly as we check in right now with Rick Bucher.
Big men, they're killing us. But he liked the last 5 minutes. He said they had 5 points in those last 5 minutes. Defensively, that's what we're looking for. But offensively, just felt that they were not finding the guys on the perimeter for open shots.
Yeah, and he needs
Terry?
more from Tony Parker, Rick, too. You mentioned it. He hits the free throws here, so he's 3 of 4 from the line, but just 1 of 8 so far from the floor, and Tony's just had a tough time finishing in the first 2.5 games.
Well, good start to the half anyway. Defensive stop for the Spurs, a kick out, and Tony Parker gets to the rim, gets a chance to get to the foul line. 12-2 in the first half and fast break points. San Antonio's got to do something about that against this Memphis half-court defense. You've got to get out and get some easy opportunities.
Inside out they go, and it's Young who buries the 2-pointer. Sam Young, second-year player from Pittsburgh, who has started the second half of this season. Remember, they've been without Rudy Gay since the middle of February out with that shoulder injury. 11-point lead for the Grizzlies. Ginobili, 2 of the big 3 together. Duncan, easy lay-in.
Yeah, Tim Duncan just entrenched himself down there under the rim, and penetration by Ginobili. A nice job of finding him. I'd like to see Tim Duncan get some more touches around the basket. Everything he's getting in this game seems like he's been on the perimeter.
Conley back to Gasol. Duncan late getting out. Jefferson the rebound. Fortunate to get that one back, and Parker has it taken away by Conley. Conley, the block. He'll go to the free throw line. Down hard goes Mike Conley against the basket support.
It got hit twice. Once on the initial drive by Jefferson, and then Antonio McDyess's full body weight comes down on top of Mike Conley. So it's going to take him a second to get his bearings before he knocks these free throws down.
Richard Jefferson, the man who picked up the foul. You could have given it to one of 3 players that time on San Antonio.
Take a look here. Conley, once they come up with this loose ball, nice job getting into the body of Jefferson, who commits the foul. And you see right there, McDyess just comes down on his shoulder. That's going to affect your rib cage sometimes. So I think he got the wind knocked out of him, able to get himself up off the floor and go to the line for a couple of free throws.
That's 6'9", 245 landing on top of you.
For that possession, that's to drive Craig Popovich crazy. You do a nice job of getting the stop, and then you're sloppy with the basketball in the backcourt. Richard Jefferson has it taken away from him. Parker picks it up momentarily, and then 4 Grizzlies surround the ball and knock it loose, and they're running the other way. If you're going to work that hard to get a stop, you've got to take care of the ball and make sure you get a quality possession out of that when you're trying to climb back into a basketball game.
Conley 1 of 2. He's got 10 points in the game. Remember, San Antonio, the best record out west, second best overall in the NBA, right behind the Bulls. Jefferson way off with the 3. McDyess gives him another chance. Duncan, free throw line jumper off the heel. That was a good look.
Yeah, Tim Duncan can make that shot. That was actually a great defensive possession for Memphis with the rotation by Sam Young on Antonio McDyess and then contesting Richard Jefferson's shot. And then Duncan got a clean look off the offensive rebound, couldn't knock it down.
Lionel Hollins, who is a terrific player, back in the day with the Blazers, part of that title run with Bill Walton and crew back in 1977. The Blazers tonight with a big-time comeback to even up their series. Young will go to the line. Lionel Hollins wired for sound. We listened in right before the second half started.
We got to expect a battle, guys. We got to be ready to battle. It's not going to be easy. We got to come out here and keep banging, good focus. We got to be committed, baby, to doing it, whatever it takes to win. Commitment on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's a coach that understands the importance of the next 24 minutes. And you're talking about a team right now that has a chance to really grasp control and momentum in this series with this game. They've got to hold home court in this series to have a chance to beat a team like San Antonio. I think you can tell he understands the sense of urgency his team needs to have right now.
But you know, as a player, that there's going to be a run by the Spurs.
No question. They're too good a team. They're a veteran team. They're not going away very easily. They've got too much talent. If Tony Parker can find some seams and gaps, he can get this team back in the game by himself.
Got 7 in the game now. And if you're Memphis, in the playoffs especially, it's what you do to withstand that run and then respond to that run.
Absolutely. You've got to show some poise. For a young team, sometimes that's difficult when things start going against you. You tend to speed up your offense and take quick shots.
Called the foul on Marc Gasol, trying to set the screen but moving, and that's the 3rd on Gasol. Spurs, how about this number? 0 for 5 from three-point range. This is the top three-point shooting team in the NBA.
And a team that we're just so accustomed to seeing bomb people out for the three-point line in postseason play. They've always had a stable of three-point shooters surrounding their stars. Not as much on this team right now with the group they have on the court, but they're climbing back in because they're executing, taking their time, getting good looks. That time McDyess with a clean 15-footer.
McDyess playing with his 15, was an all-star back in 2003, and San Antonio within 6. Blocked by Duncan. Here comes Parker. Doesn't have numbers, tries to go anyway, and it's taken away by Conley. Allen, nice dish to Young, so it goes from a good opportunity at one end to an easy lay-in at the other.
Well, that's tremendous anticipation by Mike Conley. Anytime Tony Parker's coming out to the open court and you're the only guy back, normally he is going to figure out a way to put you on skates and get around you. But Conley anticipated it, comes up with a turnover, and once again here with the rip, getting out for the easy bucket.
How would Memphis respond to the San Antonio run? They've just answered that. They've forced 2 turnovers, 2 easy layups at the other end. Mike Conley leading the way with 12. 10-point lead for the Grizzlies here in Game 3.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Dodge. Dodge, never neutral.
But Memphis again with a 10-point lead. And Tim, in that matchup of point guards tonight, Mike Conley and Tony Parker, it's been a long night for Parker, and so far it's looked like Conley's the veteran, not Tony.
Conley has thoroughly outplayed him tonight. I mean, he also has 3 steals. He's forced some turnovers by getting his hands on balls. He's done a nice job of anticipating Tony Parker in transition. And Tony Parker's so used to converting these opportunities. One defender back, he's going to knife and get his way to the rim. Instead, loses the ball. Nice job by Conley staying in front. There's opportunities, I think, for Tony Parker to attack in transition, but he's got to get the ball to his teammates as well. Here, this is what he's looking at coming up the court. You have an opportunity maybe to advance the ball to your wing, let him take it to the rim. Instead, Parker puts his head down, tries to get to the basket, and this is what he's just not finishing in this series, and particularly tonight. We're so used to seeing those plays be converted, but he is really struggling to find his way all the way to the basket and make those plays that really make the defense back on its heels.
Ginobili loses it again. So 2 turnovers by Ginobili in the last 3 trips, the other one by Parker.
Sloppy basketball right now for San Antonio. No other way to describe it. This is a team that will just cut you apart with their precision offensively, the way they move the ball, but right now, their guards are just not taking care of the basketball and giving them a chance to get into their sets, get deep into the shot clock and execute.
4 of their 9 turnovers tonight have come in this quarter. We're just 4 minutes in. Conley a 3. McDyess clears it. And Parker, who told L'Equipe, French newspaper, earlier this week that if there is a work stoppage next year, he'd like to go play in France. Not sure how all parties concerned would view that, but through the hands of Duncan out of bounds. Stays at this end.
Well, Tony Parker that time made a nice decision. He turned the corner on pick and roll, got into the lane, drew an extra back defender, hits Tim Duncan to give him an opportunity now to get to the foul line. Just hasn't been the same Tony Parker.
No.
I mean, what we're used to, become accustomed to with his speed. There are so many times in the postseason since he's been in San Antonio where he has really controlled the entire game.
Second foul on Zach Randolph. Duncan to the line. Misses the first. Rick, what do you have?
Tim Duncan doesn't often talk to the entire team in huddles, but in that last one, he was very demonstrative and very angry, saying, we can't try to do this by ourselves, and we can't try to push breaks that are not there. We've got to take care of the ball, and we've got to do this as a team.
It's a great shot of Duncan in that huddle, and oftentimes that is the difference in the veteran teams. This one's won 4 titles when you have players taking over.
Well, he's one of the quietest leaders this league's ever seen. He's done it by example throughout his career. Great teammate. But sometimes you have to get vocal in the huddle, and he did right there. And he's basically echoing what we're talking about, just the sloppiness with the basketball.
Tony Allen, a great dish down low to Gasol, who finishes. Allen's made such a difference for this team this year. We heard from Tim Duncan, now Popovich in that last huddle.
Look, your energy's better. We had a couple turnovers in a row, but you're playing like we should have been playing in the first half. Keep grinding it out. Keep grinding it out. Much better. Much better.
And again, there's that word, grind. It's been that type of series.
Well, he does like the energy better. It's certainly better than the start of the game when I thought San Antonio really came out tentative on both ends of the floor. So the energy's better. Now the execution has to catch up to the energy.
Tony Allen just picked up his first. And Ginobili to inbound. Mono, the double, kicks it out. And Duncan trying to set a screen for Parker. They switch, swing it, McDyess, Ginobili left wide open, buries it, and that's a 3.
I don't understand the rotation that time by Tony Allen, leaving Ginobili in the corner to rotate to McDyess at the elbow. You're giving up a 15-footer to McDyess as opposed to a wide-open 3 to the most important player of San Antonio's team. You've got to pick your poison sometimes, and I think you stay home with Ginobili and let McDyess have that shot.
Randolph answers with a 2 at the top of the key. He's got 16. And it's a 10-point lead again. That last 3, the first of the game for San Antonio. They had 13 3-pointers in the first 2 games. Jefferson leaves it for McDyess, scrambles. Ginobili underneath, taken away by Allen.
Richard Jefferson has to shoot that basketball. Ginobili gave him a nice feed. You've got to figure out a way with your size and strength to get that ball up to the rim.
Randolph just charging ahead. Who wants to step in front of that? He'll go to the free throw line. McDyess picking up his 3rd. When Zach Randolph gets ahead of steam, there's not a whole lot you can do, because if you step in, you're going to be called for the foul most likely, and he's going to get a 3-point opportunity.
Boy, he's got shoulders like Virginia baked hams. And when he turns a corner on you and he puts that shoulder into your chest, there's just not much you're going to be able to do, particularly when he starts on the right side and comes middle. The scouting report on Zach Randolph is always going to be to play that side and try to force him to spin back to his right hand. We've seen him make a shot in this game that way, but certainly he's going to be far more effective getting in there with his left so he can try to attack over the front of the rim.
18 in the game for Randolph, who did not play in the final 2 regular season games. Bit of an elbow, knee injury, but he and Tony Allen sat out. Mike Conley sat out the final regular season game against the Clippers, and many thought that was Lionel Hollins and this Grizzly team wanting to take on the #1 seed. Allen picks up his 2nd. Lionel doesn't like it. Don't forget, Miami, Philadelphia, Game 4, Boston, New York tomorrow. That's on ABC. On NBA, TNT, Orlando, Atlanta, Game 4, and the Lakers taking on New Orleans. The Lakers looked more like the Lakers last night in Game 3. Kobe at 30. Parker out of bounds, back to the Grizzlies.
Tony Parker getting a little out of control right there. Nowhere to go. He turned the corner. The big guy did a nice job of sliding with him. And Tony Parker just lost the basketball, lost his balance, and another turnover for San Antonio.
11 turnovers now for San Antonio. Gasol to work. Duncan, nice job defensively. Parker, that's what we're used to seeing.
That's nice. That's their early Call that a drag pick and roll in transition when you hit him with a quick one out of the backcourt, and Tony Parker now gets a chance to attack a big guy out of the perimeter. We found Marc Gasol, and he's able to beat him to the rim. He's going to do that 9 out of 10 times. Nice finish.
Such a big part of his arsenal. I mean, it's what makes him special as a point guard, and when it's not there, they really miss it.
That's the first play that we've seen that resembled the Tony Parker that we've known in postseason basketball.
Ginobili on the run out. Allen to challenge. Stays for a little extra time on top of Manu, who grabs that elbow. Ginobili comes up gingerly.
Take a look here. Getting into the body, Tony Allen making sure that Ginobili doesn't get an opportunity to get a three-point play. Solid, hard playoff foul. Ginobili, most of his weight lands on that right elbow right there. So I'll tell you what, Manu Ginobili would have to have that thing dislocated, I think, before he'd come out of the game. He just loves to play too much, loves to compete too much.
Not sure he wouldn't go out there anyway. Third foul on Allen. 15th foul here in the quarter on the Grizzlies. So Duncan having a word with Manu, saying, how are you here?
Take a look there. You can tell he immediately reaches for the elbow. All that weight came down on that side of his body, and Tony Allen on top of him.
3 of 4 from the line, 12 in the game. Gets the roll. So it's an 8-point lead for the Grizzlies with just under 5 to go here in the third. And Allen goes to the bench. Mayo comes on. Get a little offense, a little shooting, but you lose that defensive energy. Duncan one-on-one with Randolph. Jefferson high into the air.
That's the shot you live with if you're San Antonio. Try to force him out to 18 on the catch. Get a hand up on the jump shot.
Battier matched up with Ginobili. McDyess, 18-footer, rattles it home.
You look up, it's a 6-point game. You feel like Memphis has controlled this entire thing and outplayed San Antonio. But now Lionel Hollins knows they need a timeout right now. 4:13 to go in the third. Figure out how they're going to close out this quarter, because San Antonio is taking the momentum away in this game.
And they've done it with patience. It hasn't been just a spurt. They've done it with Spurs basketball, getting back into this one. Kevin Durant, Oklahoma City. Still to come against Denver. Game 3 next.
Service to the community means making your community better, trying to help. We are just in a very fortunate place, so we feel like we want to help the community. The acts in the community that I enjoy most are the ones with kids. I really enjoy their joy when they spend time with you, and that makes you feel really good that you're serving for a purpose here. I'm Manu Ginobili from the San Antonio Spurs. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Manu Ginobili with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists has helped lead this comeback in San Antonio now to within 6. We're working on that right elbow. Took that hard fall after the foul from Tony Allen a couple of possessions ago. Darrell Arthur on the floor now for the Grizzlies. Mayo. Arthur the rebound and the putback over Bonner.
Well, nice work by Arthur on the offensive boards. I didn't particularly like the shot by O.J. Mayo out of the timeout. It's just a forced one-on-one play at a time when you really need to get a quality look, but Arthur bails him out with the offensive rebound. One of only 2 this half for Memphis. San Antonio dominating the boards 10-2 in the third quarter.
Bonner tips it out. Can Parker run it down? Just does. Lionel Hollins in the crowd yelling for over and back after the shot they didn't have possession. Parker, Duncan, misses, and here comes Conley. They'll set it up and control this game.
Tim Duncan fell down there, and they actually had numbers for a minute, didn't take advantage of it. Now Duncan is back and anchoring the defense once again.
Bigger picture, Tim, when you look at this series, Memphis in control of this game throughout as Battier goes to work, taking advantage of the mismatch with Parker on him down low. There is some pressure on Memphis coming home as well.
Oh, there's no question. You went to San Antonio, you stole a game. You now have to come home and hold home court the rest of this series.
can't give it back. You don't want this to go, say, split here and end up in a best-of-3 series with 2 of them in San Antonio. You need to get both games here, and it starts tonight by getting this one.
Conley from Gasol off the heel. No, Duncan clears it. Tim with 7 rebounds so far in the game. And contact and the whistle as Conley picks up his 3rd.
You take a look here. We talked about it before the game. Greg Popovich talked about his importance. Look at tonight what this team does. When he's on the floor, +1. Without him, -11 in this game in just 9 minutes. They're outscored by 11 points that he has sat on the bench.
Yeah, game 2 was +16, -10. So the beat goes on, and that's why, talking to Greg Popovich before the game, he said it's very simple. No Manu, no wins. Gotta have them.
And, you know, I'm no mathematician, but people are probably sitting at home saying, well, then just play him the whole game. Then you'll be in great shape. Unfortunately, the way he plays and the reckless abandon he plays with, he needs frequent breaks, particularly at this stage of his career. You want to keep him fresh for the stretch run of the game. That's why you see him out right now, and you just hope that San Antonio can hold the fort and give him a chance to have those game-changing type plays in the 4th quarter.
And you see him trying to go through his shot on the sideline. I know it's his right elbow, not his shooting elbow, but that comes into it as well.
It absolutely affects you. You're offhand when you catch the basketball, when you handle it, when you're taking it off the floor with 2 hands off the dribble. All those things come into play with your offhand.
Even how restrictive that brace is. Under 2 minutes in the 3rd. Jefferson spotting up, in and out.
Halfway down on that. Nice job by the Spurs moving the basketball to the open man. Richard Jefferson been pretty consistent knocking that shot down, and now he's tangled up with Shane Battier.
Jefferson still down on the deck. They'll call the foul on him, but it has been a physical game and a physical series so far.
Yeah, Shane Battier has gone right at Manu Ginobili when he's in the court. Tony Allen and Ginobili have been entangled all night long. You know Ginobili's going to be on the floor more often than not. Takes the blow right there and hurts that right elbow. They're getting after it here in Memphis.
Called the foul on Jefferson, his 2nd. Manu with 13 in the game, 4 of 8. And he hit the only 3 that the Spurs have hit. That was a few minutes ago. But Popovich said it's like Utah plus. It's like playing Jerry Sloan's team. You know you're going to get beat up when you play the Grizzlies.
Well, I played against teams like that when I was in the league. Utah was always like that. The Knicks were like that during the 90s when I was in the league. It's just one of those teams, and Memphis is like that. You have to plow through because you're going to get hit on every cut. Every time you try to get to the rim, there's going to be bodies in your way, and you've got to mentally fight through it and be strong with the basketball.
Davis Vasquez on the floor now. It's had a subpar series so far for Memphis. Gasol never left the floor with that shot. Parker taken away by Vasquez. How many times have you seen Tony Parker not be able to finish in the open floor?
I've never seen Tony Parker have these kinds of problems when really you're talking about attacking one defender. In that case, it's Vasquez, and I knew his eyes lit up when he saw Davis Vasquez back there. But Vasquez does a great job of getting the basketball, and it leads to an extra possession and a bucket for Memphis. Tony Parker just not converting these transition opportunities.
Darrell Arthur's got him out of their seats here in the FedEx Forum. And the whistle, foul on Vasquez. Davis picking up his 1st.
There it is again now. Parker out in the open floor. You see Vasquez back. Arthur there ready to help, but great anticipation. And Parker's loose with the basketball, exposes it to the defender, and Vasquez reaches in and makes the play.
3 for 10 tonight. And just 4 assists. Lionel Hollins not at all happy with that last foul, though. They're over the limit, and Parker to the free throw line.
I mean, this game is simply going to come down to one thing for San Antonio in the 4th quarter. Manu Ginobili is going to have to come in. He's going to have to ignite this team. He's going to have to make plays off the dribble, a timely 3 here or there, and make some defensive plays as well, because he hasn't even been as involved in as many plays as he was in game 2 when it seemed like there was 2 or 3 Manu Ginobilis on the floor. He was everywhere. That hasn't been the case tonight, but certainly he's capable, and he's sitting there right now watching, engaging this game, and knowing he's got to come in and change things.
See how healthy he is when he comes back in the 4th. Parker, even with his struggles, has 8 in this quarter. Takes it away again. Another chance. Leaves it for Hill.
Well, that time he had somebody running with him. Georgia Hill put the afterburners on, and Tony Parker was under much more control that time and surveyed the floor. Didn't just think about getting to the rim himself, and it led to an easy bucket.
Arthur lost it as he went up for the finish. 1 second difference, a little more than that. Shot clock, game clock. Got an odd lineup out there right now for the Spurs with Neal and Bonner and Blair and Hill and Parker. Tony Parker all the way in.
And I don't understand what Vasquez is doing 35 feet from the basket trying to guard Tony Parker. Back off, force him to shoot a jump shot.
Vasquez, the wild shot, and 0.5 seconds left. It'll go back to the Spurs. As soon as the rookie came in, Tony Parker said, give me the ball. I'll take things from here. Hill lets it fly. Life at the end of the third for Parker and the Spurs. They've gotten it to within 5, 71-66. Manu Ginobili banged up a couple of minutes ago. Went to the bench. He'll come back, no doubt, for the fourth. Got a good one going on at the FedEx Forum.
Take the ball out of bounds. We just got to do a better job in the pick and rolls and penetration so we can get out and run, and then we'll be all right.
All right, and Tony Parker has been getting out in the open court, but you guys have done a great job of slowing him down. What exactly are you guys doing to stymie their fast break opportunity?
Getting back, and we're staying in front of him, playing him for the drive, and trying not to let him get by us.
Thank you, Lionel.
All right, Rick, thank you. Opening moments of the fourth quarter. Bonner with the miss, so it is a 5-point lead. The Grizzlies up on the Spurs. Parker, though, took advantage late in that third once Travis Vasquez came into the game. Vasquez still out there.
Found some opportunities to get by him. Got this thing down to 5, and now Memphis. Very important stretch right here without Mike Conley on the floor, without Marc Gasol. Start the quarter with some subs in the game, and got to take care of the basketball.
Arthur with the bucket, strong move. 15-5, the rebound edge going to San Antonio in the third quarter.
We asked Greg Popovich point blank before the game if you could pick one thing that you had to do well in this game to win tonight. He said rebounding. That's absolutely the most critical number for them. It means you're holding your own in the paint, holding them to one shot as many times as you can, and enabling you to get out and run your offense.
Gasol only 2 points in the third, and Zach Randolph only 4 points in that third quarter. So the Spurs, a much better effort after the break. A miss by Neal. Another chance. Parker around Arthur. Can't stay with him. Threw it right to the Grizzlies bench.
Well, Bonner and Neal have had great looks the last couple possessions. Couldn't knock them down. That time Tony Parker gets himself in the air. Gary Neal was in the corner but relocated up to the wing. Tony Parker was expecting him to be there. And honestly, the rule in the NBA, if you're on the opposite side of the floor and you're a wing and the point guard drives baseline on the other side of the floor, you should float to the baseline so he can find you in the corner. Yep. That's what Tony Parker was expecting.
Arthur can't get the roll. Neal quickly, as the Spurs look to run here to open up the fourth. Ginobili set to check back in. Parker by Battier. Arthur with the block. Ball never hit the rim. Shot clock never reset. Neal, 15-footer, Bonner on the baseline, back to the Grizzlies. So Ginobili back in. Here are the numbers for the big three tonight.
And it's going to rest, really, I think, with Manu Ginobili here down the stretch. I mean, he's wondering how long Greg Popovich could let him sit. And right now, he sees this game potentially getting away. It's back to 8. Memphis is getting control of the hustle points right now, so you get back your energizer player. Expect to see the ball in Manu Ginobili's hands a lot the rest of the way.
But he's the only one of the big three on the floor right now. McDyess called for the reach around. He's got 4 now.
His 4th personal. Spurs' 2nd team foul.
Don't forget, coming up next, Russell Westbrook and Oklahoma City taking on Denver. Up 2-0. So it's game 3. That's right after we are done here in Memphis. 74-66. It's been all Grizzlies throughout the game. Conley finding Battier in the corner. Bonner thought he got hit, no call.
Great ball movement by Memphis. The ball changed sides of the floor. The extra pass gets a wide open three.
Bonner would have been good if it went. Fouled in the act, and Arthur picking up the foul.
Well, Darrell Arthur had to close out that time. Matt Bonner's a catch-and-shoot player. He's open on the baseline. Arthur has to close out. Bonner smart, pump faking and putting it down. You don't see him do that often, but it can be effective for a shooter if you pick your spots.
46% beyond the arc this year, Matt Bonner, in his 7th year overall in the league. Led the league in three-point percentage. 74% free throw shooter with the miss. Duncan back in. We'll see if Lionel Hollins goes to Gasol. 1 of 11. Wow.
Yeah, Memphis, that's typical for them. They're not a team that relies on making three-point shots. I mean, Mike Conley is their highest three-point percentage shooter, and he's a guy that coming into this year was never considered a three-point shooter. They're not going to beat you that way, but for San Antonio, that's a big part of their offense. They always have 3 or 4 guys on their roster in the rotation that can knock down threes, and that shot just has not been a factor in this game tonight for the Spurs.
Think about this. Memphis made 309 three-pointers during the regular season. San Antonio made 685.
Totally different styles of offense and different personnel.
Bonner with the block, lost it. Arthur never hit the rim. Shot clock violation. Did it change possession? No.
Great hustle by Arthur, but securing that basketball, just not enough time to get it out to somebody where they could get a shot up. Stringing together stops. That's what playoff basketball is about in the 4th quarter. And that's what's going to determine what happens here these last 9.5 minutes. Memphis has to be disciplined, close out the shooters, no open looks, and take away penetration.
Well, it's a great matchup. Allen on Ginobili. They swing it. Hill buries the 3.
Timely shot for Hill.
And it's a 4-point game. Memphis has led the entire game. San Antonio trying to close them out here. Randolph loses it. Chance for the Spurs.
Poise. That's what it comes down to for Memphis right now. Zach Randolph taking his eye off the basketball on that entry pass. Good delivery by Conley. Zach Randolph just didn't secure the basketball. Now San Antonio can cut this thing to 2.
Allen, one of the top defenders in the NBA. Matched up with Ginobili. Duncan to the free throw line. Great position by Tim Duncan. Great pass by Ginobili, and Randolph picks up the foul as we step aside.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Ford. Drive one.
For Brandon Roy in the last couple of playoff games. Look at the star comparison tonight. Randolph with 18, Ginobili with 13 so far in the game.
18 for Randolph, but a very quiet second half. Has not had a lot of quality touches in the low post. Get back to your bread and butter if you're Lionel Hollins in Memphis right now. Hard to the right block, feed Zach Randolph, play off of him for San Antonio. Expect to see Ginobili and Duncan involved in a lot of pick and rolls.
Numbers down this year along with the minutes for Tim Duncan. Now in his 14th season. He's got 11 in the game. The lead is down to 2. Lionel Hollins' team has led since it was 12-11 Spurs. They had a 15-point lead at one point. Conley around the screen for Randolph. Shot clock at 6. Allen steps in. Randolph blocked by Duncan. Gets it back. Randolph and the foul. He'll go to the free throw line.
And he's relentless. Got his first shot blocked, stayed with it, get an opportunity now to go to the foul line. Shot goes up by Tony Allen. Perfect position by Randolph. Duncan with the block, but then just comes right back at you. He's able to spin back to get that left arm free.
He is amazing. Zach Randolph is 6'9". He's not a 7-footer. He barely leaves the floor. Not known for his jumping ability, and yet he gets everything off the glass and he finishes. Sunday afternoon, the NBA playoffs continue on ABC. First day at 1 o'clock. After the Buick Regal NBA Countdown, it's the Heat and the 76ers. LeBron and Dwayne Wade trying to close them out. 3:30, Pierce, Allen, Celtics up 3-0 against the Knicks. Full schedule tomorrow on ABC. Impressive win by the Celtics on the road at the Garden last night. One possession game as we approach the 8-minute mark. Ginobili could get there. He'll go to the line with a chance for a 3-point play.
Perfect execution by San Antonio. Tony Allen got overextended on Ginobili out to the 3-point line, and Ginobili just read the back cut. You see Duncan, Allen's trying to deny Ginobili at the top of the key, so Ginobili just goes back door. And perfect timing on the delivery by Duncan. And we got a tie game.
With 8:06 left here in the fourth, we are tied up at 75. You and I noticed it in the last time out. This is a very nervous building right now.
Yeah, they sense something slipping through their fingers right now, and Memphis has 8 minutes to turn this around.
Gasol, who's been on the bench for several minutes, sweeping hook shot in the lane, and a 2-point lead. He's got 14.
Big shot for Gasol, and once again, Memphis getting back to the fundamentals of what they do and who they are. Get the ball to your big guys in the post, let them determine what happens with San Antonio defensively.
Hill and Neal, the guards, along with Ginobili for the Spurs. Parker's still on the bench. It's at a long rest. Neal running one-hander. Duncan the rebound, fresh 24. Ginobili, the quick jumper from the corner, no. And at this point in the game, where you need your point guard too, Mike Conley, to take control and run the show. Randolph couldn't get it back. Ginobili, your first option right now?
So dangerous in this area of the floor. You can go either direction.
McDyess barely got it. 5 on the shot clock. Neal, tough shot.
Yeah, that ball should have been kicked out to Ginobili in the right corner. He's wide open, calling for the ball. And Gary Neal forced it. I think Gary Neal felt like he was too deep into the shot clock to make an extra pass.
2 for 9, 2 for 8 so far in the fourth. Conley will go to the free throw line.
Conley staying aggressive, comes off pick and roll. Little hesitation, freezes the big guy, and then the acceleration to get to the rim.
Duncan the foul. Conley a 73% free throw shooter in the regular season, and Parker still with a warm-up on.
Checking back in for the Grizzlies, Shane Battier.
Conley just 1 of 4 so far here in the second half.
Conley, 2 shots.
First is good. Rick, what do you have?
Well, you guys said that the building senses something slipping away. They're not alone. Lionel Hollins in that last timeout told his team, we've worked too hard. We've come too far. We've lost our aggressiveness. Let's not panic now. So he's sensing the same thing, that they are letting something slip away right here. Terry?
You do have Randolph and Gasol back on the floor together. They're two bigs inside. Conley makes the free throw. He's got 14 in the game now. Memphis looking for their first ever playoff win at home. Fortunate to get that one back. Jefferson back out to Hill, and a whistle.
Ball hit the rim on Manu Ginobili's pass.
Shot clock never
technically
reset.
should be a reset, even though he was passing the basketball, it did hit the rim. Clock dwindled down to 8, but San Antonio should get more time.
Yep. So they're going to put 20 seconds. They had several seconds, and they're going to count it as 4 runoff after it hit the rim. So 20 on the shot clock for the Spurs. Allen again on Ginobili. He goes around him, steps back, draws the foul. Wow, what a play. I mean, that is a play only Manu Ginobili is going to make on this team.
Such a smart player. I mean, he realizes that Tony Allen, in a sense of urgency to get back to him, is closing out so quickly. A ball fake, and then step in with the shoulder, draw the contact, get yourself 2 free throws. He's just such a crafty player. He understands the momentum that Tony Allen has defensively running at him, but he's got to figure out a way to make sure that elbow makes contact with Allen as he leaves the floor.
And Allen now has 5 fouls on him.
That's huge because Tony Allen is the guy that's responsible for playing Manu Ginobili down the stretch of games. He goes to the bench. You come in with O.J. Mayo, who's a solid defender, but not in the class of a Tony Allen, who's a little bit bigger, a little bit quicker laterally, defensively, and really has that role defined. Doesn't have as much responsibility offensively, conserves it for the defensive end of the floor. Mayo's asked to do both. See if Ginobili can take advantage of that.
And Tim, you've got an eternity left in this game. I mean, 6 minutes left in the game, and Allen on the bench with 5 fouls. Battier, who's been a part of every one of the 13 playoff games for Memphis. Gasol, and a foul. Take a timeout, step away with 5:49 left in this one, and it's a good one. Game 3, down to 2, the Memphis lead. Oklahoma City set to take on Denver when we're Deary's all tied up in a game apiece, and the Grizzlies with a 2-point lead. Remember in the first quarter, the very first time out of the game, this is what Greg Popovich told his team.
Did you calm each other down a little bit? All right? Just relax. It's just basketball. We've been here before. It's a basketball game. Relax.
Well, and they certainly have, and it's been their big guys that have fueled it. Tony Parker finally had some effectiveness getting to the rim. George Hill knocks out a jumper, and it's Spurs basketball. It's motion, it's movement, it's sharing it. Manu Ginobili with a great cut right there, and San Antonio just methodically climbed their way back into this game. Memphis hit him with a big surge early. San Antonio has done it over an extended period of time, very precisely, by getting back into this game, taking care of the ball, making sure you get quality shots. And now you look up and you put yourself in a position with 6 minutes to go to make the plays to win this basketball game on the road.
Marc Gasol, the free throw. He's got 15 in the game. That last foul was on Antonio McDyess, who now has 5 fouls on him. Gasol 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Tony Parker back on the run the show for the Spurs. 14 straight trips to the playoff for San Antonio. Remember last year they were a 7 seed. Top seed out west this year. Bonner, one-hander.
Nice job by Bonner. Again, as a shooter, there are times when you have to use your pump fake, get by the defender running at you, get to a spot where you can shoot a pull-up jumper. Big-time bucket right there for Bonner. Spurs needed that out of the timeout.
Mayo taken away by Ginobili, and then the foul. Duncan looking for a clear path. And it may have
I believe they might have called a clear path. They did. Manu Ginobili's going to be going to the foul line. Great hands by Ginobili, just reaching in. Mayo just a little loose with the ball. You cannot be loose with the basketball around Manu Ginobili. You've got to make sure you've got a tight grip on it, keep it away from him, use your body to shield it, because he's as good as it gets in this league at using his hands to make strips, and this time he's going to get 2 free throws out of it because Mayo tackles him to prevent the layup.
Remember, they tied it up at 75. And the Spurs have not led since it was 12 to 11. Ginobili 1 of 2. Normally an excellent free throw shooter, but the last couple of games, maybe because of the brace, he's been a bit off.
Well, you can see his release is different. His right hand is not staying with the basketball as long as it normally does.
Mayo pump fake, got Ginobili up in the air, and that's a 3. O.J. Mayo with the triple.
Well, that's O.J. Mayo using some of Manu Ginobili's tricks on him.
The pump fake gets him to fly by, gathers himself, and knocks down a three.
Double figures for Mayo in the game. San Antonio trying to answer. Bonner. Not this time. Two of 14 from beyond the arc for the Spurs. Quick pass inside Randolph, and a foul on Bonner. Good dish from Mayo.
Great delivery by O.J. Mayo. Bonner's down there wrestling with Zach Randolph, and he just got a little bit too high on his shoulder right there. And Mayo caught this basketball and immediately delivers the ball to the post. Zach Randolph quickly to the rim. Very upset with himself. He thought that would be an easy three-point play, just didn't convert the layup.
Lionel Hollins with his normal reaction. Stoic on the bench.
The last few times to the line, Memphis has gone 1 for 2. You've got to convert free throws in a game like this, and Randolph lets one slip away right there.
Tony Allen coming back on the floor with 5 fouls. Mayo to the bench. Hit a big three just a moment ago.
You might see some offensive and defensive substitutions right now out of Lionel Hollins. You get Tony Allen in right now to guard Manu Ginobili on this possession.
Try to platoon a little bit with Mayo at the other end.
Actually, they're going to switch up, put him on Jefferson to protect him from those fouls. You got Battier on Ginobili right now. Expect to see O.J. Mayo come back in the game when they get an offensive possession and there's time to sub.
Gasol matched up with Duncan. No help this time. Duncan to spin off the glass and in. Vintage Tim Duncan. He's got 13.
Talked about rolling back the clock. He did right there. That's Tim Duncan. Spinning toward the baseline. It's a tough angle for that bank shot, but he's made it so many times throughout his career in that moment.
Conley and Parker matched up. Been a good one to watch in this series. Randolph, quick spin. Couldn't get it to go, but the foul. Either on Duncan or Ginobili. We'll see who they call.
That's what I'm talking about right here. Duncan sometimes will go hard middle for the jump hook. If you take that away, he'll spin back, turnaround jumper off the glass. Right here, you see Ginobili come by, and I thought he got all basketball, but they called that foul, and Ginobili, Duncan's riding Zach Randolph's hip into the rim. Pretty much in good position right there, but Ginobili coming, trying to help along the baseline, gets a piece.
20 of 28 in the game at the line for Memphis.
Well, Zach Randolph was quiet for a stretch here in the second half, but now you see everything is going through Zach Randolph, and that's the way it has to be for Memphis. He just put so much pressure on San Antonio to converge on that paint.
He's 8 of 11 at the line, too, and you saw the graphic a moment ago. Memphis evening things up in terms of getting to the free throw line. It was plus 26 through the first 2 games in favor of San Antonio. Battier, excellent defender. On Ginobili, lost him though. Couldn't make him pay.
Nice job by Memphis that time. 5 white shirts in the lane, making sure San Antonio gets 1 shot.
Randolph with McDyess on him. Ginobili helps. Parker tips it. Under 3 minutes. And the foul, if that's Allen, that's 6 on him. And it is. That'll do it for Tony Allen. And they're working on Antonio McDyess in his left shoulder. And he looks still to be in pain. So they'll work on McDyess, take a timeout, step away. Memphis is shaken up on that San Antonio sideline. And it looked to be, we take a look, his head, not his shoulder. Duncan comes down right on his head.
Oh, he actually hits him on the way up first. He hits him in the back of the head. You see right here, right there, the first collision. And then as he comes down, he hits him again. It looks like his head just got kind of snapped to the side. He's in a lot of pain. He can't even stand up straight.
So McDyess got 8 points and 10 rebounds. We'll head to the locker room. Let's send it over quickly to Rick.
Thank you. You know, the team doctors were trying to see if he had feeling in that left hand and whether he could squeeze his fist, and he could not. He kept motioning to the area between his shoulder and his neck, apparently having shooting pains there, but right now they're trying to figure out exactly why he can't move that arm. Terry?
So they take him to the locker room. Matt Bonner comes on for San Antonio. Get the free throw. It's a 2-point game as Tony Allen is fouled out.
And all of that, Allen's out of the game now, so you don't have your best perimeter defender on the floor to finish this.
Battier, who had that game winner to close out game 1. After Bonner hit a couple of big threes for the Spurs. 3 on the shot clock. The Soul's got to go. Lets it fly. Marcus Soul from the free throw line.
Well, Mike Conley did a great job of probing the defense and not panicking. He looked like he was going to shoot a pull-up jumper. Instead, found Gasol wide open at the elbow.
Mayo matched up with Ginobili. Manu on the run. Out to Bonner. Swings it to the corner. Parker, nope. Just has had terrible efforts in the fourth quarter of the first 3 games shooting the basketball.
Memphis will live with that all day. That's a great rotation. And get to Bonner, make him make an extra pass to Tony Parker in the corner, not really a 3-point shooter.
Randolph operates on Duncan. No foul called, out of bounds with 4 on the shot clock.
Well, Zach Randolph that time just caught, turned, and went. And I love attacking Tim Duncan that way when he's out on the floor a little bit, because Randolph has an advantage of quickness, but Duncan is so long he's able to get back and recover, get a piece of that.
You got 4 seconds to work with here. Quick shot from Randolph, air ball. Duncan had it, lost it. Officials look at each other. It's going to stay at this end. Grizzlies basketball.
It's an air ball, and Greg Popovich is asking for a 24-second violation because this basketball comes down to Tony Parker's hands right there, runs into Jefferson and loses his balance out of bounds.
But if he's got possession before the shot clock runs out.
Correct. If that's in his hands with even a half second on the shot clock, you're not going to call a violation right there because the Spurs technically have possession of the ball. And after that, Parker lost it, so Memphis gets it back.
Conley's going to use some clock. Five on the shot clock. Swings it. Corner. Mayo. In and out. Duncan the rebound. Halfway down and it wouldn't stay. Manu Ginobili to Duncan. The big 3 working together, and Parker at the end of it finishes.
Finds a way to get that around Marcus Gasol. Duncan with the extra pass. Thought Tony Parker got himself in trouble down there, but he found a way to spin it off the glass.
2-point lead for the Grizzlies, and Lionel Hollins wants to talk things over with 56.7 seconds left. 20-second timeout will step away. Grizzlies trying to close out. Tim Legler and Rick Bucher with you. Game 3, and it's been a good one. Memphis has led throughout. They haven't trailed since the first quarter. Randolph and Gasol, the inside presence. Manu Ginobili doing his thing.
And this is where coaches and players earn their money right here. 2-point game. Memphis needs to get a quality look. You can expect to see Conley get involved in some sort of pick and roll, maybe with Gasol. But I want to see this basketball going back into Zach Randolph's hands at some point if I'm Memphis.
5 on the shot clock. Zach has to shoot it. And buries it. It's a 3-pointer for Randolph, who didn't really want to shoot it. Had to, and knocks it home.
Well, I know that's not what Lionel Hollins threw up. But the bottom line is it ended up in the hands of your best player.
One more look at the 3. And they're celebrating just around the corner from Beale Street. On their feet here in Memphis, the Grizzlies up 91-86 here in Game 3. Zach Randolph with 25 points in the game. They took another look. It was definitely a 3.
Well, you force the basketball to Zach Randolph, 24 feet from the basket. Tim Duncan backs off as the shot clock wound down. You'd like to see him maybe get one step closer, but Zach Randolph finally turns, looks, realizes, I have to shoot this thing. We called this the biggest game in Memphis Grizzlies history. They win this game, they're going to look back at that as the biggest shot.
Neither team with a foul to give. 2-possession game. Ginobili, Battier guarding him. He got help from Gasol. The foul along the baseline.
The last thing that you want to see right there for Memphis. You've got Manu Ginobili pinned on the baseline, nowhere to go, jumping in the air to make a pass, and you commit a foul and bail him out. Give him a chance to get to the line and stop the clock while you cut into this lead.
Gasol with the foul. Ginobili, remember, with that right elbow, had some pain, takes that hand off of it. 11 of 13 from the line in this game. .87%. He had 44 in a row during the regular season at one point. Makes 2, so it's a 3-point lead for Memphis. Pressure up the floor.
The George Hill pressuring Conley, trying to make them use as much clock as they can to get into this set.
Hill on Conley. Bonner on Gasol. And it's Duncan on Randolph. 5 on the shot clock. Zach looking to go high-low. Can't. Steps back. Not this time. Hill clears it. Got to go. Ginobili. Scrambles. That'll do it. Time is out. And a victory for Memphis as Ginobili and the Spurs did not execute on that final possession, Tim.
Tim Duncan looking mystified as if he tried to signal for a timeout. San Antonio pushed it. Ginobili got himself in a bad position on the court. He wasn't behind the three-point line. They wrapped him up. Spurs don't even get a quality look, and Memphis holds on.
Many teams don't want to call a timeout. Coaches like to go before the defense gets set, but Ginobili took it inside the line.
Well, down by 3, you typically want to so you can run a set. You see Greg Popovich grabbing his head as the ball's being advanced up the court, almost as if to say, we wanted a timeout. Duncan trying to call a timeout when the ball was over half court. You just rarely see a team like San Antonio, a veteran team like this, fail to execute in that situation the way they did down the stretch.
Parker can't believe it. They love it here in the FedEx Forum. The first ever playoff win for the Memphis Grizzlies at home. 91-88, the final. They take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-7 series. Randolph with 25 in the game. Coming up next, it's the Thunder taking on the Nuggets. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For our entire crew, I'm Terry Gannon. Goodbye from Memphis. Now we send it to Dave.